Though perhaps I should have said no. Perhaps I should have feigned business or claimed a restlessness that would let me out of the house, away from her and her pies. Because as soon as I stated my intent to laze the day away, that woman would neither let me lift a finger nor step a foot outside. She is animated, oddly so, moving about the parlor and fetching things for me that she deemed necessary, and were necessary, as if she knows what I need or want before I can even voice it out loud. A pillow for my feet, and a book to read, though I cannot for the life of me focus on it. It does not bother me too much, as I read the picture of Dorian Gray twice over. I knew nothing but shadows, and I thought them to be real. I should be glad for the intention and the daunting really. Instead, an uneasiness settles itself into my stomach.
Why don't you just sit down and relax, dear? We are supposed to be spending time together. I don't think you rushing around like a handmaid is how I pictured it. You are wearing yourself out, and the sun is still high in the sky.
There's a stiff jerk of her head, as if to say no, while she busies herself with making tea with water already lukewarm. My instruction to take leave may be the only one she refuses to follow. Even if I express concern for her well-being, and point out that there are others assigned to the task she wishes to carry out.
You do not need the others. You have me. I wish to show my usefulness, and I wish that you not ask me to leave.
You are not one of the servants, Hana.
It was a thought that escapes my mouth, and I prepare myself for my reprimanding. Because servants, Lucia Michelle, right? These are our employees, and you will treat them with respect, at the very least. Yet, that didn't come.
Of course. Of course, I'm not a servant. I am your wife. Your princess.
I think we're both a bit too old to be playing princess and princesses. I do not know what brought on such behavior from her. Yet I can't bring myself to scoff at the idea. Not when she looks torn and kind words might bring some degree of comfort. I will indulge this delusional talk of meritocracy to extent. One could suppose that Hana is indeed Luxborn royalty after all. But, as I said in the past, this sort of obsession does not quite suit me. Yes, I do crave power and attention, but this sort of thing is suffocating, stifling, wrong. It must seem complicated and contradicting, when in all honesty, it's quite simple. If Hana were to ever put me on a pedestal, she would be turning into every other woman that I managed to seduce due to my money and station. She'll be nothing less than the Hana that I have found to love. She'll be nothing but a mindless follower. Love and obsession is not one and the same. I don't want a lovesick woman who puts another before herself.
Princess. Oh, no, Hana. You are my queen. And a queen needs to sit next to her king. So please, sit.
I can still feel them, little bugs on my skin, crawling and squirming. But I ignore them as Hana sits down next to me and I put my hand in hers. The touch nearly makes me want to pull away. For now, I feel them burrowing into my skin, digging holes into me, though there is nothing to be seen there. clap her hand, though her touch burns both cold and hot. I did not like the thought that Hana, my sunshine, my darling, is someone I should fear. It's a bit of a paradox, for all that I do and should feel at peace in this quiet moment, dread overtakes every part of me. A small voice in the back of my head screams that there is something wrong, but I cannot bring myself to look further into it. The whole thing doesn't even last.
The tea is ready. I should go. I've forgotten the milk and sugar in the kitchens.
Oh god.
If you may excuse me.
Should I? Oh well, this is the choice. What? Should I really let her do her thing? How will this affect the relationship then? Just call the butler. Okay. Have I really been so aloft that Hana has to question where she stands? That she thinks that acting subservient is the only way to have my attention? My affection? This is wrong.
Hana, just... Johans will get the tea things, just...
Sit? Stay? No. Hana isn't some dog I have to leash and command.
Just be with me, even for a little while. We rarely have time nowadays, don't we? We're always so busy.
The others are always envious that my wife doesn't demand that we be joined by the hip. The freedom is nice, to know that I need not to be tied down to another person at all hours of the day. But even I can admit this much.
I missed you, you know. Let's just sit down together, yes?
She looks conflicted, though the reason eludes me. In the end, she chooses to stay. A summon for milk and sugar to be brought in is sent out. All the while, Hana seems restless. She doesn't utter a peep as Johans bring in things for brunch, as I may or may not have hinted that I've yet to have breakfast. Tea things are set in place, along with sandwiches and all sorts of finger foods. But it's when the other man draws near to her, intent on serving tea, that Hana's calm starts to wither. Oh. She's on her feet, hands out to take the teapot from him. The look on her face is one of disgust and annoyance. I've seen that expression before many times, in the mirror, but never on her. It doesn't suit her, much like the way she speaks now.
You are not needed here. You can leave. Now.
Oh, of course, madam. If you may excuse me, sir, I'll...
Shuriken, stay. Just let him do his job, Buttercup. That's what he's here for.
No, he is not supposed to be here. None of them are.
Oh god.
This home is for you and I. Others are not welcome. I want them gone. They do not belong here. They are not like you and I.
Something is wrong. She's wrong. Hana had always been kind where I was not, and I loved her so because of it. Yet now, there is no warmth in her voice, and the way she talks is too cutting and harsh. The way she holds herself is unsure, stiff, and awkward, as if she's filled in shoes too small. This isn't Hana. The thought itself is an impossibility. It's not like someone can be so easily replaced by an imposter I would know. So why is she so wrong?
What's going on, Hana? What brought about this childish temper tantrum of yours? You know well enough that what you ask is ridiculous.
What has caused her warmth to grow cold?
I don't know what brought this on. I don't know if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or if Johans or any of the other maids ripped your favorite dress or something. But I am not going to get rid of our staff just because you're acting like a child in a sulk.
And wasn't that something? Often enough, I'm the one who's compared to a little brat and not the other way around. But it didn't amuse me enough to distract me from the situation. Grasping at Hana's shaky hand before she actually does have a temper tantrum, I have to stop myself from flinching. Her skin is hot to the touch, and if the feeling of bugs on my skin bothers me before, they're nothing to the stinging sensation I feel right now. Having her hand in mine should feel right.
You still do not understand, do you, my love? Not yet. But you will.
Oh God.
You will.
Cloudy eyes focus on me, ardent and filled with desire. It feels as if I'm being stripped until my very soul is bare. But it isn't a searching look, rather one that wishes to claim. The look she gives me is nothing short of unnerving, but watching as her eyes roll into the back of her head is a decidedly more terrifying sight. I let go and feel as her hand slips through mine before she falls to the ground, not intent on getting dragged down by dead weight. And doesn't that make me feel so horrible? It's an act of reflex, more than anything, if the number of dead bodies I handled in the past. It's never a pleasant affair when a corpse tilts forward and pins you down. That still doesn't make it any better, of course. But what can I do? Catch her? Well, yes, but it's a bit too late for that, isn't it? Inexplicably, the stinging sensation on my skin fades away. Not that what I'm feeling right now is any better. The whole thing brings unbidden images of Mother to mind. It makes me feel sick. I want to cry and beg my audience be damned, but my scream dies out before it could reach my lips, a half-choked sob. Acting like a blubbering babe won't help. I've seen this happen before, but not to her. Luke. Mom, please wake up. Please, I'll be a good boy. Just don't leave me. Really, I should be more concerned, yet here I am, a deathly calm befalling me. I waste no time kneeling by her side, tapping a hand to her cheek in a flimsy attempt to wake her. Too pale skin jumps out at Too pale skin jumps out at him now that he tries to find what is wrong with Hana. Even her golden hair has lost its sheen. Her pulse is quick and her breathing shallow. I half expect her to be as cold as ice with how she looks, yet she still burns like a furnace. At the very least, that means she isn't dead yet.
Well, should we call for an ambulance?
If she doesn't wake up soon, yes. But it's best not to move her just yet, and...
Luke, what's going on? What happened?
I have no plans of apologizing as I shoved the butler aside to check on Hana. Though she still lay on the ground, all that matters is that she's awake, that she isn't dead. Just the thought of it. Fuck. I don't know what I would have done if things were to the contrary.
Hey there, Sunshine. How are you feeling? Do you think you're up to standing?
I don't feel too good, no. But I think I can stand.
She reaches out for my hand, and I'm quick to take it. Her cold and clammy skin is a cause for concern, but I force a reassuring smile on my face. At least, I hope it's reassuring. That isn't exactly an emotion I'm used to plastering on my face. I rarely have need or want to reassure anyone else. The most I can hope for is that I don't make her worry.
Come on then, let's get you up. Careful, careful. We don't want you to fall or break something.
Like a leg or her head. Though getting her up to her feet is easier said than done. She claims that she can manage to stand, but she's completely dead weight as I lift her. Weak. Too weak. I can feel the trembling of her body, as if just existing has exhausted her. Soon enough, Johannes aids me, and we manage to let Hana onto a chair without further incident. I have half the mind to wrench free and run. This is all too familiar, and I wanted no part in this. But do I even have a choice? Have the choice? At the moment, I suppose yes. I'm not running away. That's preposterous. I just need to get some air.
Shrouken, take her up to our room and take care of her, all right? Schedule an immediate appointment to a physician. Get it done. As soon as possible. I just need to...
Breathe. I need to breathe. Well... Nothing. Well then. Huh. Gray skies loom over in the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and, if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were Mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me. And, for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them, even for just a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship the religion nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial. But it's a date, as good as any, for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can remember how the flames licked at her flesh, oh, and how it consumed her body, until there was nothing left but ash. I stood there watching with the operator and a voice in a social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one would attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that is left of her, proof that she had lived, is her name, written in the ledger of Luxbourne Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame and to run my thumb over her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make of myself when she would have given everything to make sure I can become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me, alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Eleanor Chandelier was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen her past her occupation, past her vices and her illness. All they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfless towards people who would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought itself is blasphemy. Or blasphemous, whatever. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked. Just enough to make a banquet of the things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe. You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into, more than I deserved. Especially now.
It's been a while since I talked to my mother like this. They say that even when our loved ones have passed on, they stay to watch over us. Though I believe in neither a heaven nor a hell, a hopeful part of me wishes it were true, as ridiculous as the idea is. I can't help but grow still, a chill going up my spine, when I do feel eyes upon me. For a while, I think I'm imagining it, but I'm all too familiar with the sensation of being watched. Carefully, I scan my surroundings, doing my best to not give away the fact that I'm aware of their presence, whoever they are. But there's not a soul in sight on the field surrounding the mansion. Yet, there, on the balcony overlooking the garden, that is... God. What are you, like Spawn? Like, you could definitely see like the two yellow eyes there. I know it's just the trick of the eye with the sunlight and everything. Now I'm saying it. God damn it. But anyway, she stands there, and though I cannot see her face clearly from afar. I know she is the one staring at me. A servant, if one were to judge by her clothing. From this distance, I can't discern what those stains on her clothing are. The woman gives off a rapid air and simply did not belong with her surroundings. That isn't what worries me though. What worries me is that she isn't one of ours. She can't be. Obvious signs of being tattered and dirty state aside, there shouldn't be anyone else in the mansion aside from the three of us. And that's the balcony that leads to our bedroom. Forget pretending that I don't notice her.
You! What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there!
It's a stupid thing to do, I realize in hindsight, but calling attention to it was a spur of the moment plan. From the height, there's no way she would have jumped off the balcony, and perhaps she would have only been able to sneak in there because Hana is asleep. Calling out to her would wake Hana and, at the very least, call Johan's attention to the matter at hand. I dread to think of any other way she could have gotten there without Hana calling for us. The woman on the balcony doesn't react, barely even stirs. Probably drug-handled or touched in the head, though that begs the question of how she even managed to get in there. That changes nothing, of course, and doesn't stop me from running back to the mansion.
Shuriken! There's an intruder! In the bedroom!
Intruder! Oh, well, there it is.
Upstairs! Secure Hana immediately!
Bursting in through the front doors, I'm greeted by Johan with a kitchen knife in his hands, looking wary and alert. There's a question on his lips for a moment, but he's quick to fall into place, giving me a court nod before we rush up the foyer stairs. That woman would need to go through us to get anywhere, and between me and the butler, there's no way she's getting away. There's no announcing ourselves as I slam the bedroom door open, expecting to see the worst inside. When we find Hana simply seated at her vanity without a care in the world, my relief can't be any greater. I don't even question if she's well enough to be moving around yet. But that is soon followed by suspicion and caution. Without a word, I signal for Johans to search through the room for the intruder, even going so far as to slipping into the second bedroom. She couldn't have gone anywhere else, not without getting our attention, not without Hana noticing. It isn't too far-fetched to think that she may have course to act like nothing is out of the ordinary. If she is being forced to do this, she would be able to tell me without alerting the criminal. We should be ready for such things after all, being the wealthy, powerful, and influential people we are. And though I hesitate to break her peace, to make her worry any more than she has the right to be, I know that matters of safety shouldn't be taken so lightly. Even if I could just content myself in just watching her.
Are you alright, Hana?
There's a moment of silence as she fastens a cord around her neck, and with her back still turned to me, she replies as calmly as can be.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Is there something wrong?
Oh God, yes? There is no sign of coercion or dissonance. She gives none. Cohesion or dissonance. Everything looks fine. Seems fine. Hana says as much. Stepping out on to the balcony doesn't say anything differently. The outside is devoid of signs of any other human life with how secluded the property is. Though it is hard to be sure with how the sun has set. Trying to locate anyone on the large property by myself will be futile. Whether it is the truth or a convenient lie, one could only assume that everything is alright. And even Johannes is in agreement.
There's nobody in the second bedroom or in the closet. It's all clear.
Yet, I can't fight off the awful feeling that has taken over me.
Are you sure? Nobody? Double check. Triple check everything. Check the whole house if you have to.
What's going on? What is all this then?
He claims to have seen an intruder standing on your balcony. Did you notice anyone here, madam?
No, it's just been me. I've not heard or seen anybody else aside from the two of you all day. Strange.
The others have been given the day off. There shouldn't be anybody else here. Are you sure of what you saw? Perhaps you were...
Yes, I bloody well am sure of what I saw. There was a woman standing there, dark hair and in servant's clothing. Are you insinuating that I am making things up? That I'm going mad? Because if you are, I don't care how competent you've been. I won't have such disrespect directed at me. It's not paranoia if people are out to get me.
My anger is easily roused, no thanks to the adrenaline rush that's kicked in sometime I don't know when. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling, really. No matter how many a time I had to rely on it to survive on the streets as a child, to survive everything with how high I managed to prop myself up. And I take any and all threats toward my person seriously.
I'm not implying that you're mad. The occasional hallucination is a completely normal and human experience, as long as it isn't a repeat occurrence.
Oh, so what? That was a trick of the light? My imagination?
Like so.
You haven't ingested any alcohol today, have you?
A valid question, but
I am not drunk.
in my state, I only realize how quiet Hana has gotten when she doesn't joke about my debatable alcoholism. There is no clever quip or words of fond exaggeration. She's only been watching me through all of this. And when I do notice that, I start feeling bugs crawling on my skin. When I didn't deign to speak further, fixed on the cessation, Johann cuts in.
Whatever the case, we need to establish tighter security. We should have done so from the start. If you were seeing things, then we got lucky. Had there been a real intruder, we were ill prepared.
Of course. I trust that you can hire the most qualified from the agency. Are you all right, Hana? You seem disquieted.
I'm well, my love. I was just worried about how the hallucination brought you distress.
It wasn't a hallucination. I'm sure of it. But what can I do to prove otherwise?
It doesn't matter. You are safe, as am I. I overreacted.
Perhaps rest is necessary. It is late into the day and you must be tired from your gardening.
Before I ask how she knew what I was doing, a small, fond smile graces her lips before she brushes away a few yellow petals from my sleeve. Oh. But does it really look like I'm that exhausted? I'm sure to be well rested despite it all, and it's not like I've done anything else physically exhausting today. Beyond running here in a hurry anyway, no doubt I left a trail of the flowers in my mad dash. and I suppose I do look like a mess.
Rest sounds good. I guess I'll need to sleep a lot more than I thought. But
Well, Schrumpkin, I'll stand guard outside for the night. You two have nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. I'm not so sure about that. But thinking any more about it isn't going to do anything.
Come on then, my love. Off to bed. I have been restless without you by my side.
Even then, I can't force away the uneasiness that settles over me. Sleep is hard to attain, and even Hana's embrace does not help. She's still burning up. Alright, these days are going by quick. One more day until the fateful encounter with the group. And how much time? Okay, well, I'm gonna stop here for now. I need like a nap. So, we have one more day, and we're getting close to the ending. So, that'll be it for now. And if Hana dies, man, I'll just go back to Ashton's chapter. But anyway, save over this, and have a good day, everyone.